What's going on, guys? How you doing? We are starting Rush, Snakes and Arrows today. We are officially starting it, which means that we are on Far Cry. And also, if you're new here, I'm doing my whole intro thing where I'm reading down some information about the album. It's just Wikipedia, just to give me a little bit of background, a little bit of information, nothing insane, but means the video is going to be longer, so you can either skip ahead or whatever. Just watch it, okay? Chill. All right. If you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, bass videos, music videos. Check it out. If you like the channel, you want to support the channel, thank you to everybody who supports the channel, everybody who likes and is subscribed and who comments damn near every video. Thank you to everybody who sends super thanks, hits me with PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, sends things to my mailbox. Thank you guys, thank you guys, thank you guys. If you want to support the channel, you can hit super thanks underneath this video. You can hit me direct, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Amazon wishlist, mailing address, and I do donation requests. All that information is in the description below. Check it all out. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody. We're approaching 20,000 subs, and I thought I was gonna get there, what, 2 weeks ago, and then everything kind of slowed down. So I'm like, yo, what's going on? What's going on here? My numbers, my projections said I was going to hit it in 2 weeks ago, and now it's like, yo, where is it at? Where's it at? Did I hit it by the time this video comes out? Maybe. Maybe I did. Maybe I hit it by the time this video comes out. I don't think I did, though. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, let's just get to Snakes and Arrows. 18th studio album, Rush. May 1st, 2007. After their R30 tour, the band took a year break, during which they agreed to start work on a follow-up in January 2006. The album was recorded in 5 weeks with producer Nick Raskolinex, a fan of the group who was praised by each member for his approach and technique. It contains 3 instrumental tracks, the most on any Rush album. A vocal reason is what I'm guessing, maybe. Snakes and Arrows was released on... Okay, Okay, background and writing. During this time, they were involved in the R30 Anniversary World DVD, R30 30th Anniversary World Tour DVD, interviews for which revealed their intention to start on a new studio album in early 2006, their first of new material since Vapor Trails. The group felt charged up, having recorded their covers EP Feedback, which saw them play simple and direct songs and record it live as opposed to their own more thought out and complex music. So they recorded those songs live. Is that accurate? Like fully live, like the 3 of them playing at the same time? No, I mean, obviously Alex overdubbed, but that's cool. That's very cool. Such an approach was adopted for Snakes and Arrows. Okay, nice. Work on the album began in January 2006, and the band members adopted their usual writing method of Lee and Lifeson jamming on new music ideas while Peart works alone on the lyrics. Rather than work in the same facility, this time Lee and Lifeson worked out of their home studios in Toronto and gradually molded their ideas into arranging songs using a click track as a guide drum part. They worked a 3-day week, starting around noon until around 5 p.m. Wow, look at these guys. Super lazy. I can't even believe that. These old farts. 3 days. I'm just kidding. Three days from noon to 5 p.m. That's like worse than Portland, Oregon hours. That is in like work hours. That is insane. What kind of... Wow. That's it. Wow, they really wanted to do it. Totally. Okay. Peart, who'd relocated to Southern California in 2000, worked from home and collaborated with his bandmates online and traveled to Toronto and New York throughout the writing and recording phases. Lifeson said that the group did more pre-production work than before and that Lee and himself adopted a more casual and relaxed approach to writing. Yeah, you think? Freaking 3 days a week, noon to 5. Jesus. Lifeson had met guitarist David Gilmour during Gilmour's tour stop in Toronto and inspired him to write on an acoustic guitar as an indicator of how strong a tune is. Gilmour has thanked on the liner notes of Snakes and Arrows. During the writing sessions, Peart experimented with new equipment such as the Roland V-Drum TD-20, a kit which he used on the album to trigger samples. Much of the album is written in a 3/4 time signature. Really? Interesting. A writer for the National Post compared much of the material to that of Hemispheres, with the unexpected angular chord changes. Peart was inspired to write lyrics on various themes, including faith, fear, the association of religion and war, hope and despair, and the religious billboards he saw on his motorcycle journey across the United States, which he detailed in his fourth book, Roadshow Landscape with Drums, a concert tour by motorcycle, written during the R30 tour. He was also inspired by Robert Frost's epitaph, I had a lover's quarrel with the world, and used lyrical ideas that he had initially put down 15 years prior. Okay, super interesting. Okay, now wait a minute. This whole thing, this got me thinking. I'm going to read it again. Lifeson had met guitarist David Gilmour during Gilmour's tour stop in Toronto and inspired him to write on an acoustic guitar as an indicator of how strong a tune is. Okay, so this makes me think of Motown. So Motown, like all those, this is me pulling back like 20 years ago, right? This is me pulling 20 years ago from my memory banks, okay? So I know I don't remember it fully exactly well, but I remember reading and hearing about the writers, some of the writers from Motown. I know that there's like lots of writers from Motown, but some of the writers from Motown writing specifically, just always writing ballads. Like they would write everything as a ballad, because if it was really strong as a ballad, they would just raise the tempo. And if you listen to Motown in that kind of way, if you slow it down, it works. It's nice. So it makes me think about that, because like acoustic guitar, like, okay, but like to me, I'm like, maybe not acoustic guitar, because you could do it on, acoustic piano, whatever. That instrument doesn't matter. To me, more like if you could take a song from a ballad to a fast tempo, to like if you can arrange a song in a different kind of way, in a different style or whatever, that's going to show you how strong a song is. That's my opinion. And I got that from Motown. Anyways, Motown songs and Rush songs are not the same, by the way. And I really like Motown and that style song. I like Rush style songs also, but you know, in terms of songwriting, yeah. The Paul McCartney. Oh, nope. The Paul McCartney stuff isn't out yet. It'll be out tomorrow. But you'll see how excited I get about that stuff. I'm into all that kind of... It's like similar and same kind of songwriting style. I'm into that. Super into that as a songwriter. Okay, anyways. Sorry, my bad. I just wanted to throw that in there as a little bit of a value piece. Not to take more time. Anyways, I know that this is long. In March 2006, Lee and Lifeson had completed rough versions of 6 tracks and played them to Peart at his home in Quebec. Peart said he would never forget first hearing the initial few songs for this album. It is always a thrill to hear my words sung for the first time. There's a sense of affirmation knowing that Geddy found these words worth singing. Peart was particularly excited upon hearing Bravest Face and The Way the Wind Blows due to their fresh sound and how different they were from previous Rush songs. He picked spiritual as the word that best described the essence of the songs presented to him. Snakes and Arrows features 3 instrumentals, the most of any Rush album. In May 2006, the 3 moved into Cherry Beach Sound in Toronto for 1 month to develop the songs, and by early June they had 8 tracks they were happy with. After a summer break, they resumed work in September and kept working until it was finished. So like 2 days a week for 4 hours each day. Okay. Peart came up with the album's title as he worked on the lyrics to Armor and Sword. He'd researched several sources, including the ancient Indian board game Leela, a precursor modern children's game, Snakes and Ladders, Shoots and Ladders, all that stuff, and the quote, Slings and Arrows, from the Shakespeare play Hamlet. By the time the album was being mixed, the title was agreed upon. Peart wrote that the title was chosen to describe the good kind of faith as being armor, while the bad kind of faith is a sword. He would always check a master list at a record shop to see if an album title had been used by another band. But this time he searched online and found out about the Leela game, which had also been called the Game of Snakes and Arrows. Peart then found a game board painted by Harish Johara, which he presented to Lee and Lifeson. The 3 agreed to make it the front cover and worked with their longtime cover designer Hugh Sim to incorporate it into the sleeve layout. Okay, super cool. Main recording sessions took place across 36 days in November, December 2006. Peart worked at Allaire Studios within Glen Tonche, an estate set upon Mount Tonche in the Catskill Mountains, New York. Peart had worked at the studio for his instructional DVD Anatomy of a Drum Solo and convinced Lee and Lifeson to record there over Toronto. The band had initially planned to stay at Allaire for 2 weeks to record the drums and some bass before returning to Toronto and recording the guitars at Lifeson's home studio, but the positive surroundings, available equipment, and productive sessions led to their stay extended by 4 weeks, during which the album was completed there. The band would start around 10 a.m. and work until late, and would enter the studio at any time if the urge was strong enough, including one session which took place at 2 a.m. Additional recording was done at Grandmaster Recorders in Los Angeles. Album was recorded using Pro Tools software. Rush were joined by engineer and mixer Richard Thicke, who had worked with Lifeson on the mixes for the R30 DVD and had worked on re-recording of their 77 song Closer to the Heart for a benefit. The band were impressed with Thicke and chose him to work on Snakes and Arrows. During the writing stage, the group sought a new producer for fresh input and new directions. Among the considerations was American musician and producer Nick Raskulinecz, who had worked with Foo Fighters and Velvet Revolver, and asked his management to contact the band when he learned that Rush were to make a new album. Initially, he was turned down and was told they had already picked one, but plans fell through, and 2 months later he was chosen. A fan of the band, Raskulinec's second ever concert was seeing Rush during the Moving Pictures tour when he was 12, and started work in September 2006 following the group's summer break. He encouraged the band to explore their own limits and to incorporate the complex rhythmic and melodic patterns that characterized their albums from the 70s. The band gave him the nickname, I don't even know how to say that, G-Eazy, in reference to vocalizations and air drumming that he would make to communicate his drum ideas to Peart, with G-Eazy representing a bass drum and cymbal crash that he suggested for a part to Far Cry. G-Eazy? What? I don't even... Okay. At Raskulinec's direction, Peart would record a final drum take to the previously recorded Guy track alone, or record parts with Lee also playing. Other times, he would have the band play at once. When he had a take he was satisfied with, his focus turned to getting the best drum performance. The album was mixed in almost 4 weeks. Ocean Way recording, LA by Thicke, with assistance from Raskulinecz and Scott Moore. Done using a Neve 88R mixing console. Recording suited Peart as the studio was close to his home and enjoyed Lee and Lifeson coming over after traveling far to record with them. The band would leave the studio and play tennis or golf, leaving Thicke and Raskulinecz to assemble a mix for their approval. It was then mastered by Brian Gardner. Okay, Lee's main bass guitar on the album is a 1972 Fender Jazz model. That's a 74, so I'm close. And at the insistence of Raskulinecz, used his Moog Taurus bass pedals on all but 2 tracks, the most used since Power Windows. Very cool. A Mellotron is also used some songs, including Faithless and Good News First, for an orchestral texture. Lifeson uses his semi-acoustic Gibson ES335, a Gibson Les Paul Gold Top, and a Fender Telecaster as the main guitars on the album, in addition to a custom-built Garrison 6 and 12 string specifically made for the album sessions, a Gibson Jumbo and 12 string acoustic, and a Garrison Mandola, mandolin, and bouzouki. Peart performed on a West Coast drum kit built by Drum Workshop that he had acquired in early 2006 that was a replica of his stage kit minus the electronic pads. He was so satisfied with the kit, he had them shipped to Toronto for the album's pre-production recordings. After he had finished putting down the drum parts, Peart informed Thicke and Raskulinecz that recording for Snakes and Arrows was the most enjoyable of his career, and that the results were the most satisfying. God damn. Jeez, wow. Okay, alright, finally, let's get to it. Sorry, I just, gotta get into this stuff. Okay, so, Far Cry. When Peart was recording his drum parts on Far Cry, Raskulinecz suggested to solo over the intricate, syncopated part at the beginning and end of the song. He later said, "Of course, the only answer from a drummer is yes, of course I can, but I would never have suggested it." Okay, so, and for this, I'm going to do the version that has the lyrics on the screen. I don't want to do the remaster. There's a so it was remastered in 2013. I don't want to do the remaster because the rest of the album that I'm doing is not the remaster. So I'm going to do the one with the lyrics on the screen, because that might bother me less than a music video distracting me. Anyways, and the rest of them are just going to be how we normally do it. Just the album cover and we're just listening, which is what I'd prefer. But for some reason, there's not that version on YouTube. Let's get to this. Rush, Far Cry, bam. Cool. I like the ending. Yeah, the ending's great. I definitely see how this fits in their 90s and also like Vapor Trails. It fits in that sound to me. Like it kind of sounds like it could have been on Vapor Trails, but it sounds better. Like sonically sounds way better, right? And also has a little bit like some of the riff kind of stuff kind of sounds like it could have been like Counterparts. You know, it has like some of the 90s like grungy kind of sound, kind of style is what I'm saying. I thought that was all cool. I really like the guitar solo stuff. Yeah, Alex is like just quickly become a favorite of mine. just yeah, this is awesome. Alex is great. I think that my problem with it, and maybe this will change as I hear it more, right? As I hear it more than just once. But I think that my problem with it has to do with the melody and the words, specifically how it's wordy. It's kind of wordy, and that messes with the, I mean, I could sing you the melody more or less, but it's not, I feel like I'm going to forget it in 2 seconds. It's just because I just heard the song. I feel like they could have done more and better things melodically with the song. That's really what it is to me. It has to do with the melody. I don't remember the melody to the verse. And all I remember is I can get back on, I can get back on. But whenever that happened, I wanted a break. I liked the I can get back on, and I almost wish that they just like paused until they went to I can get back on. But they didn't do that. They just like kept rolling into more and more words and more melody. And I'm like, there's not a break. Like I need a break in order for me to appreciate what you just did melodically and to get it and to hear how it's like kind of sweet sounding, but it's not. You're just steamrolling. That's how I felt about this. The music was cool. It sounds good. All of that. Like I got no problem with the music. My issue, I think, and again, maybe this will change after I hear it more than just one time, I think has to do with the melody, lyrics. They're intertwined, so it's not, they're intertwined. That's where I think I have an issue. I wish that there was more space, like melodically more space. I feel like that could help create a better, stronger, more memorable melody, potentially. Mood point, obviously, but okay, cool. But this totally sounds like from the second it came on, basically, I was just like, all right, yeah, this sounds like it could have been on Counterparts. This sounds like it could have been on Vapor Trails. Totally sounds that way. So that all makes sense to me, in terms of where they're at. Nice. All right. Up next, we got Armor and Sword. I'll catch you in that video. See you then. Later.